Welcome to this week's edition of Black Authors Matter TV, where we interview the latest movers and shakers in the African American literary community. You'll meet some old friends, discover new ones, and stay abreast of the latest book developments around the country and even the world. So sit back and relax for the next 2 hours with Black Authors Matter TV co-hosts Gwen Richardson and Dr. Rhonda Lawson.
Good evening and welcome to the first edition of Black Authors Matter TV for the month of May. I'm Gwen Richardson, your host for tonight, and I'm going to be joined shortly by my co-host, Dr. Rhonda Lawson. She'll be on shortly. Several things I need to mention before we get started tonight. Also, our first guest, Margaret Johnson Hodge, had a health challenge, and she won't be able to be on with us tonight. So we've already rescheduled her for our June 2nd show. So she'll be on that night, and we hope her health challenge clears up shortly in grand fashion, and she's completely back to normal. It's not anything life-threatening, just was something that prohibited her from being on the show tonight. So we are. Because of the first segment was Margaret, Rhonda and I are going to talk about recent books that we purchased and read, and we would like, purchased and or read, because I purchased a lot of books based on people that have been on the show, but I haven't read most of them. So I just haven't. So what I'm going to do now is I need to, since Rhonda's not on yet, I need to check and make sure on our live stream that I'm connected. And also that people who are watching the show live, feel free to share your recent book reads with us as well. So a couple of things. Next Tuesday, our entire show is devoted to the Black Authors Matter TV Awards show. And if you've never experienced our award show, you really need to tune in. It's based on people who've been on the show in the last year. There were 2 rounds of voting, and the first round, everyone who's been on the last year was included. There were 15 categories, and the first round of voting, we narrowed it down to the 5 finalists that received the most votes in each of those 15 categories. And then there was another round of voting, and many of you participated because we saw some of the people who watch this show regularly sent ballots in. So all the votes have been tallied. And if you haven't watched our promo video about the award show, go on our Facebook page and click Reels or videos, and it'll come up. Really nice video that talks about the award show. It's really a great night, and we do it kind of like the Grammys or the Academy Awards. All the finalists in each category, they get announced, and then we have an envelope that gets opened, and we announce the winners, and they get to do an acceptance speech. So it's really based on the votes of the people who submitted ballots. That there's sometimes surprises because having name ID doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win in those categories. A lot of the people who are newer comers to the literary world, they got supporters to vote for them. So there are some surprises in there. So also our registrations for this year's National Black Book Festival, we're at 80% capacity. So if you'd like to attend, or you're planning to attend, and you've been procrastinating about registering, then you need to not procrastinate any longer. The end of May is our last day for standard registration rates. So May 31st, after that, we're in late registration. If we have space left, the price goes up and the terms are different. So if you're planning to come, you want to get in before, especially before the end of this month. Also, the Black Authors Matter Children's Book Awards. That's an ongoing process. If you have a children's book, look at submitting your book for that. The registration or submission for that is June 5th. Yeah, June 5th. So that's it in terms of housekeeping notes. And so in this time that we have leading up to our second interview, we are going to talk about books. And what we want to do is, for those of you all are watching, if you all have any books that you want to mention, feel free. I've bought quite a few books in the last month, a couple of months, and I think every single one is based on guests from the show, which means that being a guest on the show gets you exposure, even if it's just to me to buy the books, because I actually buy the physical books. So, what we're going to do first, I'm going to talk about this particular author. She was on the show twice, once recently, and then she was on maybe 2 years before that. But she has a series of books, and so I have all four of the books. So this is crime fiction, and her first installment was called Hyde. Tracy Clark is the author. Hyde was the first book. Our book club read this book when it came out or shortly after it came out. So this was the first book. And then the next book, our book club read it recently. So the second installment is called Fall. And these all feature a detective named Harriet Foster. And it's all of them are based in Chicago. And this detective is a Black woman who's a detective in Chicago and cases that she's solving. This was very good writing, very, very well done. So that's part 2 of that series. Now, our book club picked, and I'm still reading this. I don't know if you can see my bookmark, but let's see. There's my bookmark. Oh no, there it is right there. But anyway, I used a gift card for a bookmark on this one. But Echo is book 3. And again, all of the books are based in, so I'm a little bit more than halfway through this one. Our book club meeting is Saturday, so I need to finish this one before the meeting. But it's the same character, and she's throughout. And then next we have the last one. I haven't read this one, but this is the last installment, Edge. So I'm going to read this one, not right after, because I read these other two kind of back to back. I'm going to read something else in between, but very good writing, very good books, very detailed, great character development. So if you're looking for a crime fiction to read, that's something that you should try. And anybody who's watching, if you have some books that you want to suggest or recent reads that you've had, feel free. So my next one I'm going to talk about is, and this is a coffee table book, but it's heavy too. Calvin Stovall Jr. was on the show talking about this book. This is Hidden Hospitality, and it's about Black people who own hotels and hospitality and resorts throughout history, starting in the 1700s. It's some amazing information in here. He spent 20 years researching, and it shows. Great photographs if you are looking for a book to read, but all the photography is in here that's really outstanding. So I would say pick up a copy for your library. It's a coffee table book, but it is one of those books that if you want to know about some historic things, and it's what I really liked about it is it talks about all the things that we were doing, even in the midst of Jim Crow and all the other things that people were dealing with. There were people doing some amazing things with first class hotels. Now, a couple of them were brothels, but that was in the 1700s. Hey, people stayed there and they had a mixed clientele. So it's amazing. So Rhonda, welcome in. And I was just reviewing a couple of the books that I've read recently. And we were going to talk about some of our reads. And I ask the audience if they have any recent books they read. Feel free to share them. And we're going to do that until our guest for 7:30 or 8:30 on the East Coast till she signs in. So, how's your week been? And I know you're always busy, so
Oh
you are
yeah,
super busy all the time.
it's been a week. It's been a week, but hey, it's all good. It's all good. We're making it
Yeah.
happen.
Okay. All right. So since I talked about some of my books, are you ready to switch and talk about? Um, I know you talked about one in particular, but any other
Yeah,
ones that you want to mention?
yeah. I was just telling Gwen that I'm in the process of reading Kin by Tayari Jones, and it's a lengthy book, but it's actually really good. It's kind of historical fiction, and actually about a couple of girls, but one of the girls is in search of her mother, and it's pretty much against all odds. She's on this search for her mother. Every woman she runs into, she thinks is her mother, and everybody's telling her to just give up on it, and that if her mother wanted to be found, she would have found her, but she doesn't want to give up on the search. It makes you wonder if you had never met your mother and you thought that she was still out there somewhere, and all your sensibilities are telling you to just stop the search, give up, would you give up? Or would you continue to look?
Okay. Yeah, well, that's a good question. Um, not something I've ever been faced with.
I've
Obviously,
never been faced with it
I
either.
had
So
my mother my whole life until she passed. But
yeah,
um, I I can imagine not knowing your mother and wanting to know. That's one of those things you want to know where you came from, and then you have
exactly.
questions that you might want to ask them. So, and do you have the cover? Do you have the book? You did it on your phone or your Kindle?
Yeah, I always have it on my phone. My phone died as I was coming home, so I'm actually in the process of pulling it up. So
Recharging. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
so just give me a few minutes on that, and then I'll be able to pull that up. I also just finished reading Judge Stone, and
Okay.
that is the book that was written by James Patterson and
Viola Davis.
thank you, Viola Davis. And Viola Davis actually narrated the audiobook. And
Okay, so you did the audiobook or did you?
yeah, now you know I'm an audiobook girly. I
I
haven't
know, but
had time
sometimes
to
you
sit
read
down.
too.
Yeah, I do. Sometimes I actually sit down and read the book, but I don't always have time. Now, when I go on vacation, I do plan on actually reading a physical book. But yeah, lately I just have not had time to read a physical book. But I love reading or I love listening to audiobooks because I'm always on the go, as you know. So whenever I know I'm going to be on a drive and I'm going to be in that car for at least an hour or more, I'm going to be listening to an audiobook. Or when I take walks, I'm going to be listening to an audiobook. Like today, I walked from the bus stop back to my house, and that is usually probably about maybe a 25-30 minute walk. And I listen to my audiobook as I'm walking back to the house.
Okay.
And yeah,
Well, one thing, because you all have, uh, I'll say you all, you and the audience and other people who've been on the show have been talking so much about audiobooks. I told you I was going to seek out an audiobook narrator to bring on the show. So we have one coming on,
so
at, I think the last show in May that we're doing, because we next week is the award show, and then the week after that is when it's a male. He'll be on that show. And then the week after that, we're not having a show because of Memorial Day.
right.
So that's the show that we're going to be skipping. So that'll be our last show for the month of May, actually. And then our first show in June is June 2nd. Um, so we'll see. I'm interested to hear about narrating an audiobook and how he got into it. And he's done a lot of them. Now, Mama Tony says she's recently read You Can't Hurry Second Chances by Michelle Stimson. I didn't even know she had a new book out. Reese Ryan, When It Comes to You, Between Good and Evil by Rochelle Allers. and she's currently reading Michelle Sims's book Until the Sun Rises. So, Tony's a big reader. Okay, so that's the cover of Ken.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it because of
Mm-hmm.
I might have
I
to
can
turn
see
off
it.
I'm about to say I might have to turn off the let me see. Let me try to turn off the audio because it's a very light.
And plus, I think it's green. It's green too. It has some green in it, and sometimes the green is funny if you have a green screen, especially. Yeah, I've seen the
Yeah.
cover, and I think she's going to be at the National Book Club conference. I think.
Okay, awesome.
I think.
Well, I'll get her to sign my
Mm.
phone.
Yeah. So, and maybe we can get a schedule for the show.
Yeah.
A lot of times they have to grab people in person. Sometimes, So I went over the coffee table book, and then I have some other books I've bought. I've gotten quite a few. These are all people that have been on the show. And historical fiction, as you all know, is my sweet spot. So this one, The Wondrous Life and Loves of Nella Carter. I haven't read it yet. Now, these ones I'm talking about now, I haven't read any of them. I haven't even started reading any of them. But I did buy them. So that means that I have an intention of reading them at some point. So that's one. Mary Monroe, the night she was on, that was the night that I had choir rehearsal that we had before our Easter and Good Friday programs. So I didn't get to talk to Mary, but this is her book, her recent book that came out that night of the show. That was when you and Pam were co-hosting.
Right. We
And
had fun with that one.
yeah, I watched the show. I watched it.
I say Mary Monroe is always a fun interview.
Yeah, she is. And yeah, you all did a great job. We might have a guest host on. We've had it like randomly, like one or two times, but we might try it again. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And Pam wasn't actually planning to be on the whole show, so
no, but I think I kind of talked to her. And I was like, "You gonna hang out?" She's like, "Oh,
yeah,
okay."
yeah.
I
So
guess so.
she said she had a ball. So
Now
it's good talking about books.
another book that I read was well, I listened to, you know me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for it. It was oh my goodness, I just had it. What did I do with it? Oh, Fallen Grace by Sadika Johnson. It was actually a shorter book. And
Oh.
she usually does longer books, but this one
Mm-hmm.
was actually a shorter one. And but it was really good. I enjoyed that one as well.
Now I'm reading her latest book, but what I had to do uh, is something about lost children. I can't recall the whole title, but Keeper of Lost Children or something like that. I was reading it because it's like 400 and something pages. I was reading it. I got halfway. I had my book club meeting coming up, and so I had to stop reading it. And so I'm more than halfway through, but I haven't gotten back to it. Which after I finish reading this other book for the book club meeting on Saturday, I'm going to finish it. So, but it's good. She's a good writer. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know about the book you mentioned. So it's a
I
novella. It must be a
didn't
novella.
either. Yeah, it's a novella. I actually found it by accident because I had just finished reading Judge Stone, and
Okay.
I was looking for something new, and I ran into that one. I was like, "Oh, this is a short one." I didn't know that she did novellas,
Me
and
either.
so I said, "Well, hold on, let me check it out." And it was actually included with my Audible account. And I think that was maybe she does her shorter ones with the Audibles because the ones that are
Okay.
included are free with the account. So
Okay.
I went ahead and downloaded it.
Okay. Now, Mama Tony said, I guess did she read Bad Seeds? Is that what you're saying, Mama Tony? She said, read Bad Seeds. So I don't know if she's saying she read it or she's telling us to read it. So she can clarify that. And she said, Ken is in her TBR stack.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So this one, Inharmonious. Now, I had never heard of this book. Remember when Angela Anderson was on?
Mm-hmm.
And she said this was a great historical fiction book. And the author is not American. I think she's overseas somewhere in England, I think Great Britain or somewhere. And so she grew up in California and she's lived in the UK with her husband and 3 kids for the last 20 years. So trying to get somebody on the show that's in the UK, we've done it before, but the time difference is
Oh,
major.
I've interviewed somebody in the UK before, and I felt so bad because it was
You have
like
to stay up so late,
Thursday in the middle
like
of the
2 or 3 in the
night.
morning. Because I think it's an 8 hour time difference.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So I didn't even want to try to do that. But on Angela's recommendation, I bought it, even though I had never heard of it before she mentioned it. But she has great taste in books. So I trust her judgment. So Angela, if you're watching, I'm going to let you know if I like this book or not because I invested in it because you said it was good. So let's see. The next one is I have two more. This one and the next one. Um, If I Rule the World. This is by
Okay.
Amy DuBois Barnett. She was on the show. She's also going to be one of the featured authors at the National Black Book Festival. So we'll get to meet her in advance. But the storyline, this is not historical, but the storyline captivated my attention.
Really? What captured your attention? Because you're into historical fiction.
Historical. Well, she said it's about a woman who's a black editor at a fashion magazine. It reminded me of The Devil Wears Prada and that kind of a scenario. So I wanted to see if it was somewhat similar or completely different.
Right, right.
And The Devil Wears Prada too. Is it out or coming out? Is it out?
Yeah, it's coming out very soon. They just
Okay.
did a sneak preview out here in DC.
Okay. I saw the ads for it. I haven't been to the movie theater in 2 years. I just haven't been. I haven't been
Well, I
motivated.
started going back to the movie theater. I went to see Michael.
Okay, my daughter went to see that, and how was it?
I really enjoyed it.
Okay,
I did. I really enjoyed it.
okay, yeah,
They
it
did
seemed like
they
it did well at the box office.
Yeah, well, they did a good job with the movie, and I think it's because it was the family that produced the movie. Of course, they left a lot out of the movie, and if you're familiar with the Jacksons' story, you know what they left out, and it was very obvious what they left out. But if even though you know what they left out, it was still a well done movie. I thought they did a good job. His nephew was actually the person who played him. And
I
there were
heard
some
that.
parts where he looked exactly like Michael. And then there were some other parts where he just looked like a guy who was dressed up as Michael. But for the most part, he looked just like Michael. He did a great job.
Okay, so did he look like Michael when Michael was black, or after the change?
No, he did a good job on both
Oh,
in
okay.
both
Oh,
books.
well, okay. All right, all right. I'm just asking, because Michael used to be a beautiful brown-skinned
Oh
young
no,
man.
he was
Yeah.
beautiful when he was brown skinned. Yeah.
Mhm, he was. He really was. So I don't know why he thought he he was. I guess But anyway, if you look at some of the old, the pictures of Michael when they were young, he
Yeah.
just was a beautiful child. So let's see what people are saying. King Brooks is saying that Amy, oh, this book is good. It's hip hop. So this, he endorsed this book.
Okay. Now,
And The Devil Wears Prada 2 came out last Friday. Okay.
one book that a lot of people may be sleeping on.
Mhm.
Um, because she's not a huge author, but she actually was the person who won my first For the Culture Book Awards last year, Malika J. Stevely. If you've not read her book, Song of Redemption, it's a very good book. I did, oh goodness, this thing is going to be the death of me. There. Ah, shoot, I lost it. Hold on.
Okay. So what were you showing? It
Yeah.
looked like that.
Okay. I was trying to show you
The
there we go.
cover. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I remember
Song,
her,
yes.
and I
Song of
think
Redemption.
she was on our show, wasn't she?
Yes, I
Wasn't
believe
she
she
on the
was.
show like maybe 3 years ago now or something like that?
Uh-huh.
Been a while
Yeah,
back.
true.
Mm.
She did a very good job with this book. And she did an excellent job with the audiobook.
Okay.
Um, yeah, it was very well produced. So whether you read it or you listen to it, you're still in for a very good experience.
Okay.
So I would suggest that book if you've not had a chance to read it. And then I also read a novella by Kennedy Ryan called Coming Home. Um,
Okay.
and now romance books are not my favorite genre. But if you are into homecoming romance, like, coming back home and reuniting with that almost love or that the one who got away, those types of stories, you would really enjoy Coming Home.
Okay. All right. I haven't read anything by her lately, but I know she's doing a lot of stuff.
Right.
Oh, the social book club. She said, wait, what are we talking about? Okay. Linda, right? It's Linda. Her name is Linda, isn't it? With the social
No,
book
it's
club.
Stephanie. No, not
Stephanie?
Stephanie.
I
It's
thought her
not.
name was Linda.
Girl, what's your real name? We didn't forgot.
Put it in there. Anyway, because it always comes up the social book club. Margaret Johnson Hodge had a health challenge and she wasn't able to be on. So this first half hour, we're discussing recent books we've read or purchased or whatever that caught our attention. And the audience can participate as well. So since you came in late, that's what we're doing. And our 7:30 guest should be on shortly. So the last one that I wanted to mention that I got as a result of the show, this and because we were talking about Michael and the Jacksons and all that, is the Johnson Four. This is by Christina Hammonds Reed, and it's loosely based on kind of similar to the Jackson Five. So, because when she was on, I asked her about that, and this is a fairly thick book. Uh, it's 400 pages. I haven't read it yet, but
That's a long book.
all the books that I'm mentioning tonight, I plan to read them now. And this is what happens. I'll hear about a book because I'm always reading. I'll hear about a book, I'll buy it because I want to support the authors, and I plan to read it at some point. Then another book gets my attention, and the book that I thought I was going to read next ends up being pushed back. And sometimes they keep getting pushed back. Never get to them because there's always new ones. But that's a good thing because there's so many new books that are coming out that are good. And I love a good book. Now, I do have a question about Ken. Is it slow? Does it start slow? Just
To me, it started a little slow, but once it actually gets into the story, I thought it was really good.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not slow for real long. I'm not gonna say
Okay.
it's,
All right.
you don't have to read chapters and chapters to get into the story.
Okay. All right. Because my thing is, I like good books. I like good writing, but something has to happen.
Yeah.
There needs to be an arc, and for those who write, you know what an arc is. In the first 75 or so pages, to where there's something that compels you to keep reading, and not just describing people or having too many characters. Like out of the gate, having a whole bunch of
Right, right.
characters. That is, I don't want to have to use a flow chart to read a novel. So
Yeah, when
you
you
know,
have too many characters, yeah, I get
yeah,
it.
I don't like that. So,
Or you have too
oh,
many characters and you're listening to an audiobook, that's really unnerving.
oh, oh, I bet. Now on the audiobooks, and I know it's different for each one, but are there different speakers or is it one
It
person
it
reading the
depends.
book?
Some
Okay,
some books, it's the same person who changes their voice for the different characters. And then
okay,
there are some books where there are different voices, different actors for the different characters. Like for Malika's for Malika's book, she had different actors playing the different characters.
Oh, okay. And before we bring on our guest, just to uh, mention some of the things that people talked about is, let's see, King Brooks, you must read a lot. The Johnson 4 is unique and good. So thank you. That gives me some motivation. And The Keeper of Lost Children by Sadiqa is good. And so I'm a little bit more than halfway through. It's very good. One thing though, it goes back and forth in time, and then it has different characters that go back and forth in time. So that, you have to kind of bring yourself up to speed when it switches back and forth to different uh, scenarios. But the core of the book, as far as the theme, that what it goes over, the topic, and it is based on real life, but it's fictionalized. It's very compelling. So that's one thing I really like. So where it is building in the first 75 pages. Yeah. Yeah. It needs to build, and then there needs to be an arc. Something needs to happen. It doesn't have to be now. Normally you get the biggest arc in the middle, like of a book, but you need to have multiple arcs when you write, because otherwise it's just like descriptions and people. It's like something
I
has
mean,
to happen.
there has to be ebbs and flows in the book.
Yes, it does.
Even when you're reading the book, there may be some parts where the action's going to slow down some. There might be some parts where it gets a little slow for you. So you have to have something that's going to ratchet up the action again to keep people reading.
Yes, yes. Because you want people to keep reading. And it's not like a dissertation where really only one person reads it, I guess, which is the professor. I don't know. But anyway, Rhonda will know more about that than me because she actually has a doctorate. So we are bringing on our first guest. She is new to the show, never been on before. Her name is Monique. This is her writing name. And so I want to find out if that's her pen name, or if it's her real name, or only her pen name. And Monique, welcome to Black Authors Matter TV.
Let me get my thing off. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Great.
Wonderful.
Now the books behind you, are those all your books?
Yes, these are all my books.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You have a whole library back there. Come on, girl.
Do.
Listen, I'm not even in front of my library that I have all of the authors I've either read or plan to read. I'm almost at 1,000. We're gonna get there. I'm gonna get there.
Lovely.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
great.
Yes.
So now, is Monique your birth name or your pen name?
It is my pen name.
Okay, so you
Yes.
have a completely different name that.
I don't. It is the first initial of my first name and my middle name. So I go
Oh,
by
okay.
that.
So that's your
Yes,
name.
it's
Some
still my
people have
name.
a
It's just
complete.
yes,
Okay, some people have a
yes.
completely different name,
Mhm.
first and last. That's not their name at all.
Yes.
So, and I wasn't gonna, if that was the case, I wasn't gonna have you spill the beans and reveal it.
Oh, okay.
I was just
Okay,
asking.
that's cool.
So you started writing not that long ago, about 6 years
Right,
ago.
right. 6 years ago, I released my first book, March of 2020. Yeah,
Okay, write it when the pandemic hit.
correct.
Oh,
Right.
right when the pandemic hit. I mean, like
Because
right
it
on.
was March, right?
Listen, I was working in healthcare and I went on medical leave in November. And I remember after the whole debacle with COVID, I recall, thinking about how amazing it was that because I have a compromised immune system, having lupus, I was like, it's perfect. He pulled me out just in time because people were getting sick
Oh,
left and right where I worked. So it just worked out that I was home during all of that. Yeah. So yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that, in certain, of course, COVID was a terrible
Mhm.
thing in that a lot of people passed. And
Yeah.
you working in healthcare, you saw
Yeah.
it probably way more than a lot of us did. But
Before it was COVID.
the
Mhm.
blessing in that is that there were so many authors who came
Yes.
out of that time, so many business
Correct.
owners who came out of that time.
That's
And
what I
there were
keep
a lot of people
saying.
who used that time to themselves and used it very productively.
And that's
And
what I've said too. Like COVID, I mean, the whole pandemic produced a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot
yes,
of people who, took it upon themselves to get their mental health in check. It's a lot of things that came out of that whole thing. So yeah, yeah.
that's the good thing.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, so you have so how many books have you published altogether since
40,
then? 40
40,
books. 40.
40 books.
Wow. What types
I
of
don't know.
are different genres or the same type of book or what?
So I write romance. I do write black romance, but I also write romantic suspense. And I write inspirational romance. So
Yeah. See, I like romantic suspense. If I'm going to write romance, and I'm not a big romance writer, even though my last book was a romantic comedy. If I write romance, it's going to be romantic comedy, romantic suspense, but it's never just going to be
yeah,
straight romance.
yeah,
But I really like romantic suspense.
I love it. I fell in love with romantic suspense. I read Maureen Smith. I think she was the first author I read who wrote romantic suspense. And then I found of course Beverly Jenkins. I've read her. I started off with her historical romances really, and then I read some of her other works. Um and yeah, here we are.
So what
Yeah.
what made you say I want to write a book?
So
You
I'm
know,
one of
have
those
you been
people who,
writing all the time? Have you been writing short stories or have you been doing some other kind of writing and then you decided to do a book or what lit the fire for you to actually say I'm going to do it now in 20
so
in March of 2020?
so I got sick in 2019, and as a kid, I was always writing like little short stories. In high school, I would take notebooks and just write little short stories. When I was in college, I started writing a book that every time it seems like I started writing, chaos would unfold, right?
Mm.
But if I knew then what I know now, I just would have kept pushing through. But everything has a season. Anyway, I got sick in 2019 and I told God if He wake me up from surgery, I had skull surgery, I will walk in my purpose. And this is how we got here. March 2020, I released my first book, and I've been full time writing since then.
Wow.
That's how we got here.
Huh?
Wow.
You know what? That says something about you. You don't know how to sit still. Somebody who has skull surgery and it says, I'm going to use my head to write a book.
Me, because I didn't have anything to do, and I have been sitting on this same story. So my first book, the characters in that book are the same characters I wrote about in high school. They're the
Mm.
same people I pulled all these years later, 22 years into the future. 25, oh geez, I don't even want to think about it. Pull all these people into the future and continue their story. Like I wrote it from a standpoint, where in my age group now, because normally, back in high school, you write the little teeny bopper
You
stuff.
write teen stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I just, I brought it current, and these are the same characters I've had. Yep.
So are your books series? Are you series driven? Is your writing series driven?
It depends. So I have well, I consider them interconnected books because a lot of them are standalones, but they connect with other books. So they can be series. A lot of people read my stuff out of order and they still can keep up. But
Okay.
I would definitely say I like standalones, but only if they're connected to because I like writing about families. I like writing about friends, a friend group,
Okay.
where I can piggyback off of another book for another character. So that's my thing. Like I
So you
like
like
doing
to
it.
focus on one character in one book, maybe another character in
Correct.
the book,
Correct.
but they're still
Mhm.
interconnected.
Correct.
Okay, I get it.
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
And what's your best-selling book so far?
Blue. Is it blue still?
Do
It's
you
gotta
have
be
it? Do you
blue.
have it on your shelf somewhere behind you where you can
Oh,
show it
I
to
do. I
us?
do
And
have him. Listen, I have an entire stack of him. Blue.
oh, okay.
Um,
Okay.
he is,
BLU. And look, I think I just saw BLU now. Okay. All
yeah.
right.
So he's the second book in my summer series. So it's a standalone, but it's connected to three other books. Um, so this is the first one here, Uncovering Love. So this is gray and then
Okay.
blue.
Okay.
And then I have Kingston and August. So they're blue and gray are twin, and then Kingston and August are brothers, and they're friends of gray and blue. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, and when did Blue come out? Like in the sort of the if you put your books 1 to
Mhm.
40, where is Blue
Blue was
in the
number
mix?
10. He
Number
was number
10.
10,
Okay.
and I released him in November, maybe November 2021.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
Um, but to date, I want to say I can't, he's my most successful book long running because he still is read a lot now.
Okay.
People are still finding my summer series. So yeah,
Yeah, it's funny how readers find stuff.
yeah.
When I go look at my on KDP, you see your daily
Hmm.
sales.
Right.
And my first book that came out 18 years ago, it's 18. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it still sells, and I don't
Yeah.
promote it at all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
somehow people, and then they'll buy the companion book that
Hmm.
did come out, and it's not fiction, it's nonfiction. It's a book
Okay.
about economics, but
Okay.
I did a companion book 10
Hmm.
years after that,
Hmm.
and people will buy it. If
Yeah.
you're interested in economics,
Hmm.
you will be interested in both of them,
Yeah.
but they cover
Yeah.
different topics. But it's just interesting to
Yeah.
see people
It
find
is.
find your work even when you
It
are
is.
not promoting it.
Right. I'm bad
So,
about promoting. I'm so bad about it.
Yeah,
yeah.
you know, because promotion isn't fun.
It's not.
We enjoy writing the book. We might even enjoy going to a book signing or something.
Right.
But to
Right.
constantly ask people to buy your book, to constantly be talking about your book, and then you're wondering whether people are tired of you talking about the book. And it's not fun. My daughter already told me she does not want to be an entrepreneur. She said it irritates her to have to always ask people to buy stuff, and she sees me always on the grind. She said, I just want to be a 9 to 5 girly. When I get off work, I just want to do what I want to do. I don't feel like selling. I see you
Mm.
always on the grind. I don't want to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah. She just wants
Rhonda,
to look. She wants to
you,
leave work at work. And for most of
yes.
us, we don't leave it. Like I tell people all the time, I sleep on my characters.
Mm,
Even when I lay
mm,
down at night, I'm
yeah.
thinking about the
Yeah.
next the
Or
next
you
scene
wake up
I'm
in the
trying to
middle of the
write.
night
Yeah. Right.
and something
Right.
comes up. Rhonda, the words that you said that your daughter said are the same words that my daughter said to me. Because she grew up seeing, us, having a small business. Her whole life has been with her parents
Yeah.
having a business.
Hmm.
So she knows what it means.
Yeah.
And so she said, I just want to, go to work and get a paycheck and, get my month vacation or whatever and sick leave, whatever, PTO,
Yes.
whatever they call it. I get to hear the lingo of what happens in corporate because I have no idea. But she does not want to be, she wouldn't mind doing something on the side. But I told her, one thing I told her about something on the side, if it's not bringing in money, it's a hobby. It's not a business. And a lot of people, they do all this stuff and they still haven't made a sale yet. They get an LLC, they make a website 3 or 4 different times.
And that's the most unfun thing. If you're thinking you're doing all of the right things, you're spending money, or you're not spending money. You think and I think that's the mistake a lot of people make, is they don't want to spend money because they say, I need to save my money. I'm not making sales, so I don't want to spend money. But sometimes you have to spend money to make money, but they don't want to spend money because they think they have to save it all, and they're not making anything. It's a vicious cycle.
It is. It really is. It really is. It's work. It's a lot of work.
It's work. It's work. But and it takes a certain kind of person to do it. It's not
but
for everybody.
you know what the good news is?
What's that?
Cinco de Mayo is holiday time.
It is Cinco de Mayo. I forgot about it. Texas, it's a big holiday in Texas, but it's celebrated within the Hispanic community more so. It's not, citywide. But they normally have a parade. I've never been, but anyway, we're off topic, and so we need to get back on what your newest book, Widowmaker.
Yes.
And do you have a copy of that handy?
I have the special edition copy. So this is the special edition. It has like the color interior and things like that. But this is my newest baby.
Okay. Now a couple of things. One, why did you do a play on words for the maker part? What made you, the May has some significance because it's bigger. So I can tell that.
So the female main character's name is Major, but in Dr. Bell,
Major?
Without the OR. So it's Major. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And her name is Major Storm. And she is also in another book. Well, she's at the end of the book. She's something unfortunate happens to her mom. And Dr. Bell saves her. He essentially saves her. When he's putting her to sleep, he says, he asks her, do you mind if I call you May? And she says, no, I don't mind. So that's how her name became May.
Okay.
Yeah, so she goes by May. But yeah, this is my girl.
Okay. Now, what made you do a special edition?
So, this book is very near and dear. This is the first time I've done graphics for a novel, because newspaper clippings are at the beginning of each of her chapters. So I wanted to give the readers a chance, instead of incorporating her past into the book through her voice, I incorporated her past through the book from a reporter's standpoint, because she was doing some things and they didn't know it was her, but the newspaper clippings were like, another body has been found, they're still looking for this person and da 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 da. They think they're looking for a man, and all these things. So there are actual newspaper clippings, graphics in this. So that's the whole point of the special edition.
Oh, okay. Now you self-publish all your books, or?
Yes.
Okay, that's a lot of books, and you do paperbacks because and hardcover, because you're not just doing Kindle, because you have all of those books behind you.
Right. I have I keep books in on hand. I have a book event coming, Black Romance Book Fest, and I also have my own book event coming to my city in August. So.
Okay. And wait, and you are located where again?
In Florida, North Florida, Pensacola.
Okay, Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah, that's right across the line. Well,
Mhm.
right across the
Yeah.
Texas. When you go I-10 and
Right.
you get to Florida, because my sister used to live in Jacksonville, and
I know
I was driving by myself. This was years ago. I would never do that now, but I was driving by myself, and I crossed the Florida line, and I was like, "Wow, I got to Florida fast!" And this was before GPS, so I
Yeah.
didn't realize I had 8 hours to go, and
Right. Oh my God.
oh,
Listen,
so
talk
I'm like,
about
when am
that
I going to get to
all
Jacksonville?
the time. It's people don't realize that though. I tell them every time, yes, I'm in Florida, but Miami is a 14-hour drive from me, and I'm in
Right,
Florida.
right. It's kind of like Texas, although bigger, because Texas, it
Yeah.
takes 18 hours to cross from
See.
one side to the
Mm,
other.
mm,
That's
mm, mm.
that's a lot of driving.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Florida's big. People don't realize it's wide at
Mhm.
the top, and then you have
Right.
that long corridor. And I've driven,
Yeah.
I don't think I've driven to Miami. I've been to Miami. I think I
Yeah.
drove to Tampa.
Yeah. Listen,
Um,
either one, they both
yeah,
a good little drive for me.
yeah. So you have an event coming up in Pensacola called,
Urban Lit Exhibition 850. So there's going to be 35 Black authors. I'm going to have Brenda Jackson, Casey Mills. Um, we have Monica Walters, Tatiana. We have a lot of people. Siobhan Latrice. I'm excited. It's exciting.
Yes,
is
some
it for
pretty good heavy
romance
hitters.
or
It's romance. I think everyone who's there are romance authors. Yes.
okay?
You have some pretty good heavy hitters who are going to be there.
I'm so excited. I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
Now,
Yes.
what led you to create the Urban Lit ex is it Urban Lit exhibition?
850. And
And what's the
uh,
850? Is that a freeway?
that's
Is
my
that a highway?
area code. The area
Oh,
code here.
area code. Okay, I knew
Yeah.
it had some significance like
Yeah.
that. Okay. All
So,
right.
so being that I'm unable to fly, doctor's orders, and being that it's difficult for me to travel, um, I wanted to bring something here. I do go to book events that are close. I go to Atlanta. I just came back from Orlando. Um, but because unable to fly, there's a lot of things I don't get to do. Um, because of the residual effects I had from surgery.
Right.
Um, so I just wanted to throw something in my city, and I've always wanted to do a book event, and the time just presented itself. Just presented itself. So yeah,
Okay. And then you get
um,
to sell and sign your own books too.
right,
Mhm.
right. It's
Now, I
exciting.
have a question about lupus and what does it play a role in your stories? Like,
The only thing that I do have a storyline for I do have something to incorporate that into, but that story is something I'm working on. It's an inspirational romance, and the FMC has lupus. Um, but the only thing I've used, that's something personal to me, was in my book August, which is a part of my summer series. The FMC in that book has a tumor on her pituitary gland that causes her to go blind. That also happened to me when I was 19, 20 years old. Um,
hmm,
I had started losing my eyesight, and it was because of a tumor on my pituitary gland. So I do write about that. I tell my story through the FMC in that book. So yeah,
oh,
yeah,
okay. So, your example of uh, all the things that you are doing is a good example for people who say, well, I can't do, I'm limited or, I can't go places or
hmm
people can figure things out, how to get things done if they want to,
hmm
a lot of
and
times.
it's
Hmm.
not easy. I mean, it's
Hmm.
it's very hard. I
I'm
mean,
sure.
I went to Orlando, and I've been back for maybe 2 or 3 weeks now, and I'm still dealing with the vertigo of going south 6 hours. Um,
Mm.
because
Is it the sitting
there-
down? Is it?
it's the barometric pressure change because I've had surgery on my skull. I've had a
Oh,
surgery twice on my skull. So pressure, which is why I can't fly, pressure is it causes me to have severe vertigo. So I'm not able to drive on my own for a certain amount of
okay,
time. So I have to have a driver, like that type of stuff.
right.
Um, so yeah, I get vertigo really easily.
Wow.
um,
I hope you're able to partner with some of the organizations because it seems like you're building a great platform to spread awareness
oh yeah.
about lupus and
Mhm,
some of the effects of lupus,
mhm,
and you can do that through your event.
correct. And I'm looking into that. I've been trying, listen, the struggle, the
I get
struggle,
it.
but but I'm still putting my best foot forward. I'm sending out emails, so yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So, Blue is your best-selling book,
Mhm.
and is there one of your titles that is like your favorite?
Oh yes, that would be Still Waters. So Still Waters is a two-part series. There is a third book to it that is in the works right now, but Still Waters is a romantic suspense. Favorite
Okay.
book. Yep, favorite. My absolute favorite. It's about an attorney, uh Phoenix Steele, who essentially rescues the FMC when she gets lost in the woods. He's a recluse, and she just happens to stumble upon his property. And there's a terrible storm, and he's like, if that's her own fault for getting lost out there, and I'm not gonna go try to find her. But then he, gets some morals about him, and so he decides to go look for her, and that starts the whole book. Uh, the whole book. But yeah, I love
Oh,
them.
okay. Well, Mama Tony wanted to share the link for your event because she's in Florida too. I think she's close to the
Oh,
Georgia.
okay,
I forgot where exactly, but she's close to the Georgia line. She's
okay,
not that far from Georgia. So she wanted to share the link for your event in the
okay,
chat. So
okay.
because she's always going to events, especially close to home in her vicinity.
Let me see.
Uh,
Oh,
so uh, do that, and
Definitely
also
share your link because also there's another lady from Florida, Kimberly Weeks. She's in the chat and she lives in Florida as well. So you never know, she might be able to swing
yeah.
through. So go ahead and promote yourself, girl.
yeah.
Listen, please come. This will be the last round of tickets sold because I initially sold out. So I did add more tickets in this last couple of days. So this is actually pretty cool. So yeah, if you would like to come, definitely come see us.
Okay, I
Um,
see you just put it in the
She put it
yes.
in the
Zoom
Zoom
chat.
chat.
I'm gonna take it and
So
put it to the Facebook chat.
Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, Rhonda can do that.
But yeah, it's going to be August 1st and 2nd. The first is the actual book signing. The second is a brunch we're having with Brenda Jackson. So
Okay.
it's
Well, I
gonna
love
be
a good
fun.
brunch. I need to swing through
Mhm.
myself, but I'm too far from you.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the weekend we're gonna be in Atlanta.
Oh, okay. I can't come
It
anyway.
was.
Yeah.
What are the dates again?
August 1st and 2nd.
Oh yeah, we'll be in
Okay, yeah,
Atlanta.
that's when we'll be in Atlanta. But
Yep.
yeah, in the future we might be able to swing it to get over there.
Yes, please.
Hmm.
I plan on, providing, you know, I get through this. Um, I plan to have it again in 2028. So,
Okay, so you're gonna do opt for a biannual or
correct.
every other
Mhm.
year. Hmm.
Correct.
Some people do that.
Hmm.
There's all kinds of
Yeah.
formulas, and you can create your own formula. You don't have
Yeah.
to necessarily do what everybody else does.
Mhm.
Right,
And I
right.
have so much on my plate. I have so much on my plate, and I'm just, it's like I would be doing myself so crazy if I had one next year. I wouldn't, it would just be too much. So yeah.
Yeah. So
I,
Widowmaker is your latest book,
Yes.
Widow, Mayker, and it just came out. So people out there, and is it part of a series or is it a standalone?
Yes, so Widowmaker is a part of the only book I would recommend reading before Widowmaker is Dr. Bell. Not because, you probably can read this, but she does appear in like the last chapter of Dr. Bell. And people will understand what actually happened to get her to where she is in this book. Yeah.
Okay. All right. My final question on the Still Waters, and it came to me as you were describing it. Do you come up with your titles based on the character, or do you come up with the character and then create the title?
I come up with a line. Okay, I know it sounds crazy. When I'm driving, I love music.
Me too. And you said you like old school music. Wasn't that you that like old school music?
I love old school, 90s, early 2000s, 80s. Like I listen to this, all that. Like my kids don't even know who most of these new artists are because we're always listening to.
Yeah, my daughter didn't until she started, was older and could listen to stuff on her own, but she only heard old school. And I go back further than that on old school.
I'm so sorry, but it's after 9 o'clock.
Is it? Okay. All right. Sorry.
I mean, I love talking old school.
She's the timekeeper. She's the timekeeper. So, and Monique, thank you so much for being on the show. Congratulations on all your books.
Thank you.
Congrats on your upcoming event. I know it'll be
so much.
A huge success.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it was a blast and a pleasure. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
And you do the same. Take care. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye.
Okay, we're going to bring on our next guest, but right before we do that, I just want to remind people next Tuesday night is the Black Authors Matter TV Awards show. If you've never seen it, you need to tune in and watch the whole thing from beginning to end. And even if you have, you know how great it is, and we'll see you next week. So we're bringing on Patrice. I'm not sure if her name is pronounced Gopo. She will tell us. And welcome to Black Authors Matter TV.
Great. Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here. And it is Gopo. It's Patrice Gopo.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
Thank you for being on the show. It's a pleasure to have you.
It's wonderful to be here. Thank you so much.
And you have won awards for your picture books.
I did. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, a lot of them. So before we talk about your most recent book, I just want you to talk about some of your children's books. If you have any of them handy where you can show them and just give us a bird's eye view of those.
Oh,
and then we'll talk about your latest release, which is not a children's book.
It's not. That's right. So I write books for adults and I write books for children. And I actually first started with writing essay collections for adults. And then I moved into children's books. And then I most recently have edited an essay anthology. But so I do have two children's books. So this book, it's my most recent one. It's called Ripening Time. And it did win a North Carolina Book Award. And it was a finalist for the Southern Book Prize. And then this is my my first children's book, All the Places We Call Home.
Oh, it looks beautifully illustrated.
Yeah.
Do you use the same illustrator for all of your books?
No. So Janine Mohammed is the illustrator for All the Places We Call Home. And then Carlos Vélez Aguilera is the illustrator for Ripening Time. And then I have a forthcoming book, picture book that's coming out in November. It's called Beyond Alaska's Window, and that is a different illustrator for that book. That's Monica Mackay.
Oh, okay. Now, your books are through, who's your publisher?
So these two are through, it's an imprint of Hachette. It's called Worthy Kids. And then the one that will come out in November is with Viking.
What? Drama, Hachette.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. They were in the news recently because.
Oh, okay. So I probably missed that. I will just readily admit I I miss a lot of things that are going on in the news. So
I missed it too. So maybe you need to fill us in on
I
what
know,
it is.
now I want to know what the drama is.
Oh, see, I know. I shouldn't have said anything.
Now you've opened the can of worms, and you need to just give us a hint of what
There
it is.
was a young lady who had published a book on her own, and Hachette had gotten wind of the book, and they wanted to republish the book.
Okay.
And they had given her a great book deal.
Okay.
And a reviewer read the book and said that he felt that the book was AI slop. And he put the book through an AI detector and said, see, I knew it was AI slop. And he went to, I think it was the New York Times or something, and it wound up getting a whole bunch of negative attention. And so Hachette pulled their publishing deal back, and it made a lot of news, and people were really upset.
Okay. Well, thanks for filling us in.
Now I heard about that, but I didn't know it was Hachette. So you filled in a blank for me on that. But I did hear about like a month ago. It was a real big story.
And in fairness, the young lady said that she did not use AI. She believes that an editor wound up introducing AI into her book. And I guess this is a teachable moment for everybody, because I'm an editor and I use AI, but the thing is, there's nothing wrong with using AI, but you have to be honest in how you're using it. And especially if you're going to use it in your client's work. So if you're going to be using AI to edit somebody's work, you have to be honest with how you're using it. And so I don't know if she used it and she blamed it on the editor, and I don't know if the editor used it and didn't disclose it. But I said, if you are using AI, you've got to be honest with your clients and let them know that you're using it and how you're using it. So I did a whole piece on it.
Okay. Well, I think something else and I know this is getting us a little off topic, I'm sure. But I think one thing I was curious about too was the use of the AI detector, because I've heard that AI detectors are not necessarily 100% accurate.
Right.
That was the thing, because before AI was ever a thing, people were using things like M dashes, and they were using
I love M dashes.
Yes. And they were using certain
them.
writing techniques. So are you going to say that the writers of the olden days, back in the 80s and 70s and so forth, are you going to say that they were using AI when AI didn't even exist back then? So
these are interesting questions.
Exactly.
Just from a legal standpoint, I'm thinking, and then we're gonna get
back to our guest.
But
interesting
thing. But if the editor did do it, the author would have a legal case because she lost money and her reputation, loss of her reputation for something she didn't even do. If that's the case.
That's a good point.
You would have a good legal argument.
That's a good point.
So anyway, Patrice, you didn't use AI for your books.
No, I did not. I have not at all. So glad but I do use M dashes. Maybe not as much in my picture books, but in my other, like my essay collections, I do enjoy a good M dash.
I use them too. I think they're great. And but that's one of the reasons why I'm very selective about just using some of the new technologies. And revealing my own personal words, because people are using them and they're creating books that from just out of the ether, and they didn't write. And because not everybody, a lot of people are looking to make a quick buck. And so I don't know how it's going to affect books and the industry and writing. It'll be, we really won't know until it kind of plays itself out. But
Yeah,
your
well,
books are
I
very
did a
well.
whole thing on it. So we'll talk about that later. Yeah.
Yeah, we might even have a guest to talk about that at some point in the
There you
future. Just the whole half hour will be just on that. But
Right.
the two books that you have, the children's books, one, is it about harvesting? Is that?
Oh, okay. So this one, ripening time, I'm guessing you're
Mm-hmm.
thinking that one.
Yes.
So it is inspired by my childhood. So I was born and raised in Anchorage, Alaska, and my parents are from Jamaica. And so when I was growing up in Alaska, my parents, they would search all over town to try and find some of the foods that they were used to eating in Jamaica. As you can imagine, it was not always easy. And one of the foods my mother would look for were plantains. And every now and again, she would find the plantains at the grocery store and she'd bring them home and we'd wait for them to ripen so
Yes.
that we could have them. So it was always this anxious time of waiting for them to ripen. So this particular story, it is about a little girl who the family has found plantains and she's waiting across the week for them to ripen so that they can eat them with Sunday dinner.
It's
Oh,
so fun
okay.
because I just finished eating a plantain for dinner.
Oh, you did? That's so perfect for
Yeah,
this.
I've never tasted one.
Oh,
But
they're
I
so
know,
delicious.
Plantains are delicious, especially when you let them ripen because then the sugars really come out.
Right.
And
They do.
yeah, and then when you cut them up and fry them, or you can mash them and make them into like a mash. Yeah, so I can. I mean, I guess you can. Most people wait until they're really soft, but you can also. Can you also eat them when they're a little bit more
When
firm?
they're green, you absolutely can. So that's one thing when I go and visit schools and I talk to the children about plantains, I just mention how my family ate them. So here you can see they're frying up the plantains finally in this last page. But I will talk to the children about how people eat them all sorts of different ways. I am just talking about the way my family ate them in this particular story, but there's all sorts of different ways that people will eat them. Some people want them very ripe, some people will eat them green. So I think it's a great food to recognize that we just as people do things differently and there's lots of great ways to eat this wonderful food.
how
It's so
close are they
yummy.
to bananas?
How close are they
Like
to
the
bananas? Is that the question?
flavor, yes,
Oh, the flavor.
or
So you
texture
know what?
and texture.
So I think there's similarities. So one thing that I like to explain to people is that bananas and plantains, they're actually fruit cousins, is what I like to call them. So they have the same common ancestor, and then they've kind of derived in their own separate ways. So they are very similar. But one thing I'll say about bananas, so this is one thing I'll often talk about in my school visits too, is that I'll ask the kids who has a banana in their lunch today, and some of them will raise their hands. And then we'll talk about with a banana, you typically will just peel it and eat it. Obviously, you can eat it different ways, but bananas you might just peel and then eat right there. Whereas a plantain typically will be cooked in some form or fashion before you eat it. So that's
Oh,
kind
okay.
of a difference, but they are similar. So this particular book, Ripening Time, it actually started. So a lot of the work that I do when I write picture books, they're actually inspired by an essay that I wrote in the past. And so this is my first collection of essays. It's called All the Colors We Will See. And in this particular book is an essay about my sister and me and our experiences connecting with our Jamaican heritage, even as we were growing up in Alaska, and how we have differing experiences. And I use the comparison of plantains and bananas to kind of talk about how we have similarities, but we're not exactly the same. And there's a paragraph in that essay that inspired this picture book.
So,
Oh,
did you actually grow up in Jamaica, or did you grow up in Alaska?
I grew up in Alaska. Mhm.
okay. What
But
part?
my parents are from Jamaica.
What part of Alaska did you grow up in?
In Anchorage.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I've been to Alaska once on a cruise.
Oh, how wonderful. Did you enjoy it?
3 years ago. I tell people if you can only go on one cruise, that's the one to go.
Oh, that makes
It's
me
the
so
most
happy to hear
scenic.
that.
It is the most scenic. It's the
I
most
went to
beautiful.
Alaska, but I never left the airport, so I don't consider myself having been there.
Oh no, were you on your way somewhere?
It was a layover, so I can't even.
Okay. Well, but you know what? If you were in the airport, did you at least look out the window and see the mountains?
I looked out the window, but I don't feel like I experienced it.
I
So
mean,
I don't
you
consider
didn't
myself-
experience it, but you probably at least could
Uh,
see something. Or when you're landing, that's one thing I talk to people about. When you land in Anchorage, that is, if you can land in the daylight, it is gorgeous.
Yeah.
As you are flying in, because you are going over the mountains and everything, and then you cross the inlet. It is one of the most beautiful descents, I think, but I guess I'm a little
Oh.
biased.
Of course,
Okay.
of course. Now, but let me ask, because I really love the fact that you make this comparison of, with the bananas and the plantains. So you grew up in Alaska.
Yes.
How old were you before you really learned about your Jamaican roots? And when did you start to kind of embrace those roots?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I mean, honestly, my parents were, our household really functioned in many ways as a
Okay.
Jamaican household in Alaska to some extent.
Okay.
So that's something that I talk about a lot, is kind of the mixture of things that we had. So we used to curry salmon. So that's kind of the curry, the
Oh.
influence of Jamaica,
Interesting.
but then the salmon, right? That's something that we would have gone and caught. And so
That's
it was,
fusion.
yes, exactly. So I think a lot of this stuff was happening in my household. I think especially a lot around food. So I do end up writing a lot about food in my work, because I feel as though even as people often move to other parts of the world, that's something they'll still often carry with them, is food in some capacity. So my picture book that will come out in November, it's called Beyond Alaska's Window, and it's about a Jamaican family living in Alaska across the changing seasons. And so every Sunday, even as the seasons of Alaska are changing, they eat the same Jamaican meal every Sunday. So, they're staying connected to their roots that way, even as they are embracing this other place that they're living.
Yeah, I was there in August, so
Oh, yeah.
just beautiful. We went whale watching,
Oh, how lovely.
and you actually got to see the whales coming up
Oh,
out of the water, and it'd be
yes.
groups of them. It's just and there's so many lakes. What you don't really hear about the
Mhm.
lakes in Alaska, but there's just tons of lakes and falls,
There
where
are.
the water is coming off of the mountains. It is just the gorgeous, and it wasn't that cold. In August, it's 50-ish. So
Hmm. Hmm.
next
Yep.
time I go, I want to take the train, where the train
Oh,
takes you
yes.
like an 8-hour train trip all
Yes.
around. So that's on my bucket list to do.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. I love that you said something about lakes, because I actually, in my first book that I just showed you, I do have this line in there that talks about how there's more lakes in Alaska than any other state in America. So,
They're
You
amazing.
want to go to Alaska?
Just
I
you
need
need
to take
to
a cruise.
if you only go on one cruise. I like cruising, so
Well, I
because
like cruising as well, but now, see, I think I need you to dispel a myth, because there are going to
okay.
be people who will say, well, why would I want to go on a cruise in Alaska? Aren't I going to freeze? Why would I want to
No.
take a but that's what people are going to see. So I need you to dispel that myth.
Oh, okay. Well, they only cruise 3 months out of the year. The summer months. I think
Okay.
they're like the end of August
The
is the
summer is
last
like
cruise.
60 degrees, isn't it?
Yes, 50-ish in there. So
it
I think
can
June,
get
July, and
warmer. I'll just
August.
interrupt and say that. I mean, it can get warmer.
It can get warmer, okay, but so people won't be expecting it to be really warm. And
Right.
at night it's cold. On the ship, it was cold, but we got to see the Northern Lights,
Oh,
Oh,
and
that's
it
so
beautiful.
was just amazing.
wonderful.
It was so like the air is just so clean and pure.
Yeah.
And we saw the eagles, actually the bald eagles. They are huge birds, and they
Hmm.
perch on top
Hmm.
of like the light poles, and they just sit there almost like a statue. because when you see them and you say, "Is that really a bird?" Because it's just sitting there. It's you know, and the wildlife is different. So everything's different because you're in a different environment and with different temperatures. You got different animals. You got. So I loved it. So anyway, now your new book is about healing.
Yes. Okay, yes. So this is my latest book, and it's actually an anthology that I edited. So I edited it, and I also contributed essays to it. It's called We Deserve to Heal: Black Women on the Perils and Promises of Friendship with White Women. So this is not a children's book. This is targeted at adults.
Okay.
So
wait, first of all, I just love the title. The title could be
the subtitle. The subtitle is
the title, the subtitle, just the cover itself could be a poster by itself.
I think so. I'm with you. I agree. It feels very vibrant to me. Very just like catching and drawing people in. And that's one thing I will say about this particular book. I feel as though it is very clear what this book is about. The title, you know, We Deserve to Heal: Black Women on the Perils and Promises of Friendship with White Women.
Yeah. Now, what made you collect essays on that?
Yes.
Like what led you to actually do a what do you call it? All call out or whatever you do when you're asking people to contribute to an anthology.
Right. No, that's great so I'll tell you just a little bit about the background for this project. So it really is rooted in my own personal experience. And I will say, I think across my work, whatever I'm writing, it is somehow rooted in my personal experience. I think that's where I find the most energy to bring to the work that I do. But this particular project, probably 5, 6-ish, 7-ish years ago, I was in the midst of several ongoing conflicts with several white friends and just trying to struggle to repair those relationships. And it really wasn't happening. And I just found my mind just continually spinning, trying to figure out how could I fix this? Where did it go wrong? All of that. And one day I was taking a walk in my neighborhood and I just started asking the question, I wonder if it's just me. Am I the only one who's ever encountered challenges in their friendships with white women, or are there other Black women out there who have encountered challenges as well? So by the time I came home from my walk, the idea was planted in my head that I should really reach out to other Black women and find out what their experiences have been. Let me create a platform for other people to write about their experiences. And maybe in that process, I'll learn something myself as well. And so that was really the beginning of this particular project and me desiring to gather other voices around this particular theme.
I love it. Wow. I love it.
Thank you. There's some things that you have to keep in mind when you are dealing with the average white person, even if they're your friend. There's some topics that really you can't really talk about. They just because they won't get it, and you know, there's just some topics you can't discuss. But then if they ask you questions, then what I say is, okay, do you really want to know the truth? Do you really want to know? I ask them that because before I tell you, you need to say you accept that the truth that I'm going to give you.
Well, I don't know. I think part of it is I just don't treat my relationships with white women like a teachable moment. They know who I am, and I make it clear who I am, but they also know that I'm not gonna come across stereotypical just for the sake of proving that I'm a Black woman either. I am who I am. But my question is also, do you feel that tension in your work relationships with white women, or is it friendships with white women, or is it a little bit of both?
Yeah, so I will say my experience with this book that led me here was very much connected to friendships with white women, less so work relationships, but the thing that I love about this book and that it's an anthology is it brings together so many other voices. So other writers were considering some of their work interactions and work relationships as well. So I think the reality is there's so many different types of relationships that I think Black women could possibly form with white women that could fall under the broad umbrella of friendship. And that was one thing that I really wanted to explore is how do these unique understandings of friendship fit in together? What are the people's varying experiences? And I think one of the things, excuse me, that came out in this whole project was, yes, there are many different experiences, and yet at the same time, so often through the essays, you could find these threads of commonality, even in the midst of these very different experiences that people were writing about. So that was something that was interesting. There's a kind of a unique quality about this anthology that kind of is different than I think many other anthologies that I've read, is that every contributor, they wrote one essay, and then they also wrote a second essay in response to one of the other contributors' essays. So everyone has two essays in there, one original essay and then one response essay. So in that way, there's kind of a dialogue of sorts that's going on, even in the anthology as a whole.
Wow.
I definitely need to read it because I'm going to be working on my own book myself, but mine is going to be more centered on Black women in the workplace.
Oh, yes. Which I think
that's my dissertation is on Black women in the workplace, Black women leaders.
Yes.
In the workplace. Yes. So I'm going to transition the dissertation into more of a popular medium because people aren't reading dissertations for fun. But can I just say that I love
one person, the professor. So, or somebody doing research might find it, but it's not like a trade book or it's not popular reading or even leisure reading. It's not. You don't read a dissertation for leisure reading. So,
but I love.
So the common threads, I think that this is a very interesting topic. And I have a question about who's read it or the feedback you've gotten. Have you gotten any feedback, reviews or whatever from white women?
Yeah. Oh, okay. So specifically from white women. So I was going to say, lots of people have been reading it, and it's been really interesting to see that. So I think many Black women are reading and resonating. I've gotten messages about this sense of feeling seen, feeling not alone in their experiences, that Black women have extended those types of words. In addition, I have definitely heard from white women as well who have read this book too. And I think what I have felt from their responses is a sense of, I know this isn't necessarily for me, because the book is called We Deserve to Heal: Black Women on the Perils and Promises of Friendship with White Women. So it is particularly targeting Black women in their experiences, but white women have said, I know it's not necessarily directed at me, but I feel a sense of just invitation to just even observe. And that feels kind of an honor to be able to do that. So I think there's a sense of getting to hear stories you might not necessarily hear. So I think back to what you said, Gwen, about someone asking you a question and you saying, do you really want
the answer?
The answer. And so in a way, what I think is really powerful about this book is that white women, they can actually go hear some of these answers without necessarily trying to draw that from their Black friend, that they could actually have a resource that they could read and discover something here without necessarily making their friend the person who needs to somehow teach them this.
Right. Or being on the defensive.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. I think so. That's one thing that I always think is very powerful about writing, is that whether you agree with it or disagree with it, the words are there. And if you choose to engage with those words, you are opening yourself up to hearing somebody's story. And I think while we can argue with many different things in the world, I think it's more difficult to argue with someone's actual lived experience and their story.
Absolutely.
Right.
I
Even
thought you
though
were going to
sometimes
say
people try
something.
to, but
Yeah, I thought you were going to say something a little earlier, and I think we might have cut you off. I didn't know if you lost me.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was just going to comment about your dissertation and how one thing that I think, well, one, the topic I think is very important because I think that is a particular type of subset of relationship that really has to be explored because of how much occurs in the workplace. And if we're not recognizing, so I love that you're doing that. But I think I was just thinking the thing that's so neat about dissertations is that you can take all of that and do so many other things with it to reach
Right.
other audiences, which I always think is, you can write a book, you could start a podcast, you could, create some articles, you could, be a speaker at a conference, all of those things.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and she's done quite a few of them already.
All of those, that's what you've done already. You've been doing it. Exactly.
That's true. But now I do have a question. With your book, are you just kind of, so to speak, discussing the problem, or are you giving advice? Is this more of a discussion to help people feel seen, or are you helping people to deal with it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say this is definitely less of an advice, this is what should happen based book, but it's more of an opportunity for people to share stories. And that's the thing that I realized as I was bringing this project together is I think there's something powerful that happens when we tell stories in community that can help bring about healing. And that was really what I was aiming for in this project, was that where people have experienced challenges or hurt or frustration, if we could come together and share these stories and bring them to, bring them in a way so other people can see, I think it actually helps to heal the hurt that we've experienced. So that is more the hope and intent with this particular project. That said, I imagine someone could pick up this book and find pieces of advice or ideas for maybe how to interact in the future in a different way that could be really powerful. So there's actually a discussion guide for the book that I've created. And I think it delves into some of those things, kind of challenges some thinking around some of the essays so that people can really say, like, what do I take from this? And, depending on who you are in the world, are you a Black woman in the world, a white woman in the world, somebody else in the world? What might these stories mean for how I might choose to now move through the world?
Well, we're at the end of our time, Patrice, but
man.
thank you so much for being a guest on Black Authors Matter TV.
And I'm usually the one to say that, but that was
you are, and you didn't even you didn't look like you were going there, so let me do it. So anyway, it's been an amazing discussion about Alaska, children's books, plantains, and healing. And
healing. That's right. Yeah. Well, I just want to thank you both so much. This has been a really rich and fun conversation. And AI, remember we started with AI and M dashes. So we've got the spectrum on this whole thing. So thank you both so much. It's been wonderful.
Thank you. You have a wonderful evening. Let's stay in touch.
Thank you so much. I will. Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, we're bringing on our final guest. We're running a little bit behind, so we want to go ahead and do that. Our final guest is a children's author as well, Angela Dalton, and she has two amazing books that are more recent. She has more than two, but two of them really came to my attention. And so, Angela, welcome to Black Authors Matter TV.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. I'm honored to be on here. So thank you so much. I'm going to say I'm nervous. I'm so nervous. I've learned that I just have to call out the feeling that I'm feeling, so then I can act like a normal person.
Oh, well, there's no pressure. There's no pressure on this show. So it's a conversation. It's just like being at your friend's house with some wine and just talking. That's what it is.
Well, if I could have brought wine, this would be a whole different conversation. Oh, you got yours. Oh, see. I missed the memo.
She had wine with her, but I know she does drink wine. I know, but I didn't know she had some right there. So
Well, I
anyway,
have
I
thoroughly.
can't do wine on this show because I am a teetotaler and a lightweight, and I could drink like about 4 sips, and then I might say anything. So I, so I don't do it.
Well, I've
But
really enjoyed the conversation so much. I almost
uh,
forgot that it was my turn next because I've just enjoyed the last two conversations that y'all have had. So I'm
oh,
really excited to be talking to you too.
Oh,
okay.
well, we're
Well,
excited to have you. It's your turn now, girl.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So tell us about Angela Dalton and who she is and what motivates her.
Oh, wow, that could be a really loaded question. Currently I live in Oakland, California, but I'm originally from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I moved to Oakland in 2016, so I've been here 10 years. It'll be 10 years in August, actually. And in a previous life, I was a digital marketer. I was a digital producer of kid games for different television networks like um, Adult Swim and Nickelodeon and Nick Jr. and any television network that made animated television shows. I worked at a company where we made online games and activities to support those shows. And that's really kind of how I got into children's literature because I learned a lot from reading story Bibles, like seeing how they put shows together, how they created character arcs, all that kind of stuff. And so that's what I did back in Minneapolis. And I was also a content strategist too, for a large corporation who will stay unnamed because I'm trying to like wash the filth off myself from that spirit. But
Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
I know how that can be with some experiences. You need washing and almost a baptism.
right, well, Dr. Rhonda, you were talking about doing this book about Black women in leadership roles. So I'm like, if you want to interview me, I got stories. But luckily, I was able to escape and move to California. And ironically, with having all this tech background, I could not find a job to save my life when we moved here. And my husband asked me, what do you feel like? Like, what's something you've always wanted to do? And I said, I always wanted to write a children's book. And he was like, you should do that. And so he made it seem so easy. And so I had an idea for a book that was about a grandmother teaching her grandchild that they will always be connected no matter what the skyscape is. And so I wrote this book and didn't know what to do with it. Ended up that a friend of mine's wife was a publisher at a self-publishing press, and they helped me learn how to publish my own book. And that was kind of how it all started. It's called If You Look Up to the Sky. And it got a Kirkus starred review, which I was really surprised about. I was not I didn't even, I'm going to just be honest with you, I didn't even know what a Kirkus star was when it happened. I told a friend of mine about it, and she's like, you got a starred review. And I'm like, is that good?
You become auntie.
Yeah. I had no idea. So, and so that was a really wonderful but exhausting experience of self-publishing my first book. But I learned a lot about the business of publishing and distribution and promotion, definitely promotion, learned a lot about that, which I think helped me when I decided I wanted to be more traditionally published. And so I wrote manuscripts. I joined a lot of amazing organizations like 12 by 12 Picture Book Challenge, who I tell anybody if they want to get into writing children's books, do the 12 by 12 Picture Book Challenge, and had 3 to 5 publishable manuscripts and got an agent. And she and I together published 4 books together and an early reader. And so that's where I'm here today.
Oh, okay. Now, it's interesting that you went to California with a tech background and you couldn't get a job, and that's supposed to be like the tech universe of, you know, of the universe, like of the world.
Yeah.
One of the most tech jobs.
I'm going to
And
take it as the universe and my ancestors protecting me and telling me this is what you need to do now.
well, that's true. Sometimes when we miss opportunities that we think we should have, it's really doors opening in other places that we wouldn't pursue if we walked into that traditional role of tech.
Yeah.
or whatever the role may be. So, and it's good that you had a supportive husband that was willing to, help you.
I really think that anybody who wants to get into an industry like publishing or even entertainment, it's so important to have that foundational net of, supporters. Because it's hard, and especially writing, as you both know, it's such a solitary
Yes,
job.
it's solitary.
Yeah, and so, you sometimes don't know if you're doing, am I doing the right thing? Is this good? Things like that. And so I attribute a lot of my success to my husband being that supportive and just, keeping me going, saying like, just keep going, you're learning. That was a big thing for me, was that I knew I was like learning something new and giving myself the grace to learn it because I didn't know it, that it was okay. And so I really feel like, for anybody to be successful in whatever they're doing, it's important to have that foundation. It's important to have that base of people who believe in you.
It is, that support is very important. And not having support, well, it's rare that someone in your life, especially a spouse or partner, is neutral about what you're doing. Because being neutral is the same thing as not supporting you. So either they're supportive or they're not supportive.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so having someone who's not supportive is very difficult. And I went through that in a brief first marriage. It's very hard because you don't know. Well, it's just, you have to still make a living, and then you have to have home. And if it's not working, neither one of them is going to work well. So
That part.
that's just great that you had that support. So tell us about the two books of yours that really came to my mind were I had it on my screen. Oh, To Boldly Go, the book about Uhuru.
Yes.
Star Trek. So you have a copy of that. And I wanted to know, how did you get that? How did you sell that? And what made you think to do that one?
Well, they just say write what you like, what you know. And I was a Trekker ever since I was 8 years old.
Oh,
And
okay.
I was such a nerd. I was such a black nerd when I still am a black nerd.
So you're a blurred. It's
I'm a
called blurred.
blurred.
Is it? Is
Called a
that
blurred,
true?
a black nerd, a
Is that
blurred.
true, Rondo? You just made that up just now.
No, she did. It's true.
It's a real thing.
Oh, okay.
It is. Yes, yes.
Okay.
I am a nerd. I'm a blurred. I'm a blurred.
Okay.
And so, because of Nichelle Nichols, I mean, she was so influential in so many people's lives. But for
Yes.
me, as a kid, and especially as a black girl, to see this woman who had agency, who had expertise, she was up there on the Starship Enterprise with everybody, they would go to her like, hey, we need communication. She's like, hailing frequencies open, sir. She had authority and so much power that we hadn't seen in anywhere from any black actor during that time when it came out. Now, of course, I was watching reruns when this came up, but it still was very unprecedented to see a black woman in that capacity. So it had a tremendous effect on me to say, oh, I can be smart. I can be in a position of power. I can be the person that people have to come to for information. And I really took that to heart. She also opened up my love for space. When I was a child, my dad would take me. I lived in Chicago at the time. My parents moved around a lot. My dad was in the government, but we lived in Chicago for a short time. And I would always make him take me to the planetarium. He got so sick of that planetarium. He started calling other family members to be like, can you please take her? Because I can't anymore. But it just had opened up such a profound love for like space exploration. And, so I just remember that as a kid, and it opened up my love for science fiction and fantasy and all of these things. And so when I got to the point of writing children's books, like I said, everybody says the best advice is to write what you know. And I just could never forget like how, again, how impressed upon me she was. And no, that's not actually true. The way that it came up to me was, this is what happened. I was watching Drunk History, and Drunk History,
That show. I love
yes,
that show.
is that a great show?
It's an awesome show. I wish it came on more often.
I know. They're so
Yeah,
fun.
I
But
don't know
did you
what
see,
y'all are
wait,
talking about.
but did you see the one with Raven Simone playing Uhura, and they did the reenactment of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his influence on Uhura, or I'm sorry, on Nichelle Nichols playing Uhura?
I feel like I may have, but I might need to watch it again. It's on YouTube, isn't it?
It is, yes, watch
No,
it.
what?
No,
Okay,
Gwen is
okay,
Gwen is
okay.
lost. Gwen is lost.
Time out. What is Drunk History and where is it?
Okay, so this is what
What
happened.
is it? Just give me an
You
encapsulation.
get you get very, very smart historians, people who really know history.
Okay.
And they have to take a certain number of shots and drinks. They actually get really drunk. And then
Okay.
after they get drunk, they tell a historical story. So in this case, the historian told the story of how Martin Luther King had an effect on Uhura, about how they met.
Okay,
And
now who are the people getting drunk? Is it different people every time?
yes,
Yes.
different people, different people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And where is this Drunk History? Where can one find it? On streaming, or you said it's on YouTube?
YouTube.
You can find it on YouTube. I think it used to come on the Comedy Network or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Yeah,
you
but
learn something.
you watch it one time and you're going to be hooked.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
they're really, really smart. They know their history, and the stories they tell are 100% true. But because they're so drunk, they just tell them in the most hilarious way.
Now, are they actually drunk?
I mean, yeah.
Do you know? I mean, do you know for sure that they're drinking, or is
Can't really be that drunk, but some of them I think are really drunk.
drunk? Okay. I'm gonna go. Okay, I'm gonna go on YouTube and pull it up, and I'll have a report for you. Not next week because that's the award show, but the week after I have a report.
I'm tuning in because I want to know the report. I want to hear the report.
Okay, so the Drunk History.
Yeah,
you saw an episode where they talked about that, and then.
But I had never heard that story before. I had never heard the story about how Dr. Martin Luther King had this impact on Nichelle Nichols, and the impact was that she was ready to leave the Star Trek show because of all the racism that she was experiencing on the lot, and with a lot of the TV executives, like they weren't giving her mail, even though she was getting all this fan mail. She was getting more fan mail than like anybody else on the show, and they were keeping it from her because they didn't want her to know how successful her character was. Mm-hmm. And so I saw this Drunk History. I'm like, okay, I need to research this because, again, like in the household that I grew up in, there was like 3 people. It was like, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X, and Jesus. And I'm like, why have we never heard the story before? And as I started doing research, I just realized, she had lived such an incredible life that I don't think a lot of people have been privy to. And then she was also so impactful, not just on television history or American history, but also in American space exploration history. Because of Nichelle Nichols, that she is the reason why we had a diverse, and I say had, past tense, a diverse astronaut program. Because before she was actually asked by NASA to try to recruit candidates of color and women when they had created their first orbital shuttle, the space shuttle. And that opened it up where anybody could be an astronaut. And NASA had tried to recruit people, but because they had such horrible discriminatory hiring practices, nobody trusted them. And so Nichelle Nichols was like, okay, I will do this for you, but if I come back with all these candidates and you still hire white men, I'm coming after you. And she meant that too. And so she went out and she found 8,000 candidates And because of her, that's why we have Dr. Mae Jemison, who's the first Black woman astronaut, why we had Sally Ride, the first white woman astronaut, why we had the space shuttle, the Challenger crew, which included Robert McNair. So, I don't think people really understand how fundamental she was to space exploration for the United States.
So were you able to convey some of that, even though it's in a children's book? Were you able to
I
let
was. So
children know, plant those seeds in there?
I was. So if
Is
you
it a
read the book,
rhyming book? Is it a rhyming book or
it's
just a storyline?
it's just a storyline. So it's a picture book biography. It's written in prose, and it delivers the story to children, I hope, in a very accessible way about who she was, what impact she had on American television, American history television. Again, when she was Lieutenant Uhura, there had been no other Black actress who had played any other character than someone who was in service of white people. And so, but at the end of the story, in the back of the book, there's back matter. And that's where I talk more about, like, okay, after the show, this is what she also did, which is talking about NASA and space exploration and all of that. So it's really fun when I go to school visits and I talk to kids about this. Because first of all, I think the first thing that blows their mind is that there's only 3 television channels at one point.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're just like, wait, what? And then,
NBC,
and
NBC.
CBS.
That was
yes,
it.
yes.
That was it.
And that if you missed the show that night, you were like,
It was
missed
gone
it. That's
forever.
all
You just
recorded.
missed it.
You had to be home when the show aired.
yes.
Otherwise, that's
Somebody
it.
pointed out that when when we were talking about the Michael Jackson movie, we were talking about Motown 25, and when Motown 25 came on, the streets were empty. Everybody was at home watching Motown 25. You couldn't miss
Yes.
that night. You couldn't record it.
Right. There was
Yes.
no
Hang on
DVR,
again.
no VCR, none of the R's, none of the recording devices. There was nothing. You had to watch it at the time. And additionally, most homes only had one television.
That part.
So
We were all in front of the
yeah,
one TV.
everybody was in front of the one TV. And the parents decided what you could see, not the kids. The parents were in control, and hopefully you got to see the shows you wanted to see. But I'm not a Trekkie. I never watched even one episode of Star Trek. My husband was a Trekkie, and so he loved the show, and he still watches like some of the old episodes. But I do want to know if you know, because her role was so groundbreaking, how did she even get the role? I mean, for them to even create the role and then say, we're going to put a Black woman in it, how did that transpire? Were you able to find that out?
I was, and thank you for asking that question. Nobody has ever asked me that question. And it's really interesting. So I think the first place to start, I'm going to try to do this quickly because I see what time is. So the first place to start is it starts with Gene Roddenberry. He was a writer in the 60s for a lot of Western shows and science fiction shows. That's what was really popular at the time. And then what also happened was he had an idea for a cowboy show in space. So that was Star Trek. And sorry, let me go back one. He was working on another show called The Lieutenant, which was about the military. And that show was also groundbreaking because it was the first time that there was a black male character. He was in the military. He was still kind of in service, but he had a wife. So it was the first time like a Black family had been portrayed. And Gene Roddenberry wrote that episode that had the episode with a Black family, Black husband and wife. And Nichelle Nichols played the wife. So that's how she met Gene Roddenberry. And they became friends. And when he started this idea for this cowboy and space show, he had asked her if she'd be interested in creating a character. So she actually created the character of Uhura with him. She came up with the name Uhuru, meaning freedom in Swahili. And she came up with she was a communications commander. She had this team of communications experts beneath her that she commanded. And so that's really how she got into that role because of her friendship with Gene Roddenberry.
Wow. Well, it was interesting that he was open to doing it because it was
Right.
really truly groundbreaking at the time.
It really was. And part of it was because of his, so I don't know if a lot of people know this either, that the only way that Star Trek was actually picked up as a TV show was because of Desi Arnaz Jr. and Lucille Ball. And they had so much power in television that Lucille Ball actually went to I think it was Paramount at the time, and said, "You need to put this show on. You need to greenlight this show." And they backed it. I think they even put money against it. And so Gene Roddenberry was friends with them, and they being, a multi-ethnic couple, he was open to, like, he'd served in the military. He had served alongside a diverse group of people. So he was open to being around people of color because of his background. And so I think that was pretty much kind of fundamental of how all of that happened.
Wow. Now, you mentioned she was in something else. I don't recall seeing her in anything else other than Star Trek, but she may have. Did she have a career after Star Trek?
After Star Trek ended, she went back to performing. So she was actually a performer first, meaning singing and dancing. She had gotten her start at 16 with the legendary band leader Duke Ellington. So that's really how she got her start. So her background, so after it ended, she went back to, singing in clubs and touring around the world. And it was, maybe about 10 years later that she was in a movie. And the movie was during the blaxploitation era.
Okay. Which
Very
movie was
different.
it?
I don't know the name of it, and I'm a children's author, so I'm going to continue maintaining.
Okay.
But if you,
That pays me and stay in my space.
I'm going to stay in my space. But if you Google Nichelle Nichols blaxploitation film, it will come up for you.
Okay.
I'm doing it right now. Michelle Nichols, blaxploitation.
It's that wine. It's that glass of wine.
For blaxploitation film Truck Turner as the character Dorinda. This is considered her most prominent role in the genre.
No, I did. That's one I didn't see. That's not like one of the top 10. There's a hierarchy in the blaxploitation.
She was with Isaac Hayes, so she was up there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. But the Truck Turner movie wasn't like Shaft or
Right.
one of the ones that got the most, or Superfly. I didn't see any of them. I was an adult when I saw it.
This trailer has Isaac Hayes with his shirt off shooting a gun.
But he did some acting and he did some amazing singing during that period.
Mhm.
Other than the theme from Shaft, he did a lot of singing. And he was also, I know you're laughing around there about his having his shirt off. He was also in the movie, I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's the one with Nicolas Cage and Bridget Fonda where she hits the lottery and she's a waitress and they end up getting married.
Oh.
And
Like,
Isaac Hayes is the reporter that
is it the Quentin Tarantino movie?
was
Foxy
it what?
Brown? Foxy Brown?
No, this was more
No.
recent, much more recent.
Oh, okay.
This was like in the 90s, I think. Nicolas Cage, Bridget Fonda, not Jane Fonda, Bridget. Anyway, it's a cute movie. It's a rom-com. It's really cute.
Okay. I'll watch that if you watch.
Isaac Hayes is in there, not singing, but as a reporter, and he plays a homeless guy, and he has some, a decent role in there. Anyway, we are at the end of our time. So,
That's a really good way to wrap it up.
This has been a blast, and we didn't really get to talk about your Juneteenth book, but she has a book on.
But I went ahead and put the link up anyway.
Okay, as well.
Yeah,
And
so but I will say Juneteenth is next month, so go ahead and get Angela's book anyway, Freedom Celebration. Juneteenth party level.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This was fun. You're right, it was. I wish I had my glass of wine, but this was very fun. Thank you so
Well,
much. I
we're
appreciate
just
you
gonna
both.
have to have you back on the show because this was a fun episode, and we really enjoyed talking with you.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I would love to come back anytime.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Have a
Bye.
great night. Okay, everybody, that's the show for this week. And don't forget, next Tuesday night is the Black Authors Matter TV Award Show starting at 7 o'clock live. We're going to be announcing the winners in 15 categories. And it's an amazing night. And if you've never experienced one, you need to. And if you have, you know that you want to do it again. So anyway, that's it for tonight. I'm signing off, Gwen Richardson.
And I'm Dr. Rhonda Lawson. Have a wonderful evening and a great week.
Thank you for tuning in and join us next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern for another edition of Black Authors Matter TV.